I am Tara Rajendran, and my work lives at the intersection of medicine, classical music, research, and storytelling, fields I have learned to weave together without a map. I was shaped by journeys without signboards, and that's the space I speak from today, discovery in the unfamiliar. As a child, during the cold, dark, cloudy monsoon mornings in Kerala, I'd often follow my mom and uncles searching for edible mushrooms that sprout in the hidden patches of earth around our village home. But the path to them is covered with slimy mud and 1 foot tall wet grass and nettles. Swarms of mosquitoes and bugs buzz around, and I was told to watch out for cranes, and I was petrified of them. That's the thing with these paths no one has ever walked before. Uncomfortable, unfamiliar, unpredictable. They test our courage, stretch our imagination, expand what's possible, and often reveal parts of ourselves we never knew existed. But that's where discovery lives. If we never take them, we risk living only half our story. An uncharted path may feel uncertain, but it's also where breakthroughs happen. Here are 9 insights that I gained while creating an untrodden interdisciplinary career trajectory, which you can reflect on as you walk your own way. Refine every skill that you love outside medicine, regardless of your proficiency at it right now, by deliberate practice. It could be in sports, painting, creative writing, coding, design, music, dance, literature, languages, photography, theater, animation, filmmaking, knitting, pottery, anything and everything. Set small, specific goals for improvement. For example, write a short story every 6 months or code a mini project. Experiences in diverse disciplines add multiple dimensions to your worldview. Just like a richer vocabulary lets you express yourself more effectively, experiences in various disciplines gives you more ways to understand who you are. As a classical musician, I push my boundaries by collaborating with musicians of other genres. Carnatic music is based on musical modes, and collaborating with Western musicians pushes me to learn harmony. I've loved writing short stories since childhood, and I used to write in my vernacular Malayalam. I was introduced to English only around the age of 9, and I had a very limited vocabulary. And I was conscious about this, and around 12th grade, I developed a habit. Whenever I came across an unfamiliar word or phrase in a novel or in a conversation, I'd write it down. And I would revisit this list regularly, and the list over the years grew to around 4,000 words. And this small habit over the last 15 years has helped me tremendously. For proof, on the left is a short story I had submitted to Commonwealth Short Story Competition in 2015. Atrocious, to say the least. And on the right is a short story published by Sahitya Akademy's Indian Literature in 2021. Well, relatively better. Now, academic writing is very different from fiction, obviously. To learn various research reporting narrative styles, I read journals such as The Lancet, Journal of Clinical Oncology, JAMA, NEJM, etc. And that's an ongoing process. Now, my very first case report from 2015, it's a poster on the left. I think I had the right ideas, but somehow I managed to make it a complicated word salad that no one could follow. But by the time B&J Case Reports published it in 2022, I had learned to arrange my thoughts more linearly. So, some improvement, I guess. These qualities often influence your journey. You already know them, you have noticed in yourself, or people have pointed them out to you over the years. It could be your sense of humor, sociability, adaptability, talent for teaching, the ease with which you communicate and collaborate with others, etc. Keep those in mind. Now, find the gap. During my neonatology sub-internship at Mount Sinai, West New York in 2018, I witnessed something that absolutely blew my mind. A music therapy intern walked into the neonatology ICU with the simple equipment called ocean disc. She explained that by gently tilting it in rhythm with the neonate's breathing, the beats inside shift and create a whooshing sound. Let's hear that sound.
Yeah, like that.
So this is the sound the fetus will be listening to.
Yeah. And sometimes we try to fit with their respiratory rate, like if it's too fast, and then gradually get slower to make it more calm.
So neonates, when they are admitted to NICU, are suddenly surrounded by these harsh beats far from the environment they knew. So she said an ocean disk helps comforting them because its whooshing sound resembles the familiar timbre of amniotic fluid. I was curious and I started to dig around and I came across this 2013 research article published by the journal Pediatrics by the American Academy of Pediatrics, reported by Lowy et al. These diverse music-based intervention techniques that are far beyond passive music listening truly inspired me. And at that moment, I realized, and I was lamenting about the paucity of literature on India's vast, untapped musical repertoire and the gaps that needed to be bridged. Now, I want you to think about your own experiences in medicine. Have you noticed a gap in your field of interest that made you stop and think? Maybe the need for an app that connects doctors, nurses, and labs for a faster documented communication. Or the need for an app to educate patients and caregivers in all the local languages of India. Now, mount all these skills and soft skills and abilities that are already within you, one above the other, against the gap in the infrastructure. Imagine boldly. I invite you to consider a multidisciplinary center point where all your virtues and abilities and skills intersect. What if there is something only you can imagine and achieve by leveraging the unique combination of your abilities and interests? You could be the first to chart the solution your field has been waiting for. Maybe think in the lines of a psychiatrist using filmmaking and animation to tell stories in medicine with great detail and sensitivity, or a sports physician designing sports-based public health programs. A physician friend of mine holding a biomedical engineering degree is now at the intersection of medicine and healthcare and software. An oncologist I knew is at the intersection of medicine and journalism. Now, seek out formal one-on-one mentorship opportunities offered by professional global organizations. For example, last year I was accepted into Grammy U mentorship program, which connected me to a brilliant mentor who broadened my artistic vision. Attend conferences, workshops, literature festivals, music concerts, art exhibitions, etc., where people in your field gather professionally. Connect with those whose work inspires you. Stay abreast of latest research by reading premier journals in medicine. Write to the authors. Note which institutions are producing it and take a note of names of the grants and the funding agencies. And stay in touch with the network that you just built. Now, if you're unsure of initiating a conversation, pay attention to the career trajectories of people whose work you admire. Now, even without speaking, you can learn a lot by simply observing. Not to imitate their journey, but to familiarize yourself with the names of the grants and other opportunities. Every relationship takes two, okay? So do not seek directions from someone who does not want you to reach your destination. And unfortunately, if you come across with gatekeepers who disdain your ambitions and patronize, no matter who they are, walk away immediately. Also be cautious about credit stealers. And even if that happens, even if someone steals your idea, they cannot steal your vision, commitment, or conviction. And that bad experience should not deter you from networking again. Do you stop eating after food poisoning? No, you just don't go to that specific restaurant again. Resurrect with the new life experience and move forward stronger. In comparison to many other classical music traditions across the world, classical Indian music performances are predominantly solo-centric, where the main performer leads with improvisations supported by a few accompanists. And this way of working is reflected in many other domains in India, including medical research, where collaborations within and across institutions remain very limited. Just as ensembles create richer harmonies, we too can benefit enormously from building stronger collaborative circuits and sharing credit. Now, collaborations doesn't stop at your classmates. It could mean reaching out and collaborating with statisticians, clinicians from other departments, programmers, artists, engineers, and people way beyond medicine. Now, you may ask, attending a conference or deciding something from the scratch requires funding. Absolutely, but the good news is that help exists. Look out for governmental research and travel grants as well as international fellowships, scholarships and awards. Many of these opportunities are not widely popular or regularly offered, and you will only uncover them on their official website. So what I would do is follow them on their social media, on all these institutions or platforms on social media, or go to their website and then subscribe to their newsletters to stay connected. This will ease fear and foster confidence. You don't have to figure everything out from the outset. Clarity doesn't precede action. It emerges through it. My very first oncology and strengths, my music-based intervention research advocacy program concert, I had no veena in my hand. It was a friend's friend's friend who helped. I had no venue to do this. A few days prior to the event, I received approval from Stanford University's Lyman Atrium on campus. It was my housemates who drove me till there, helped me set up, and welcomed all the guests just as my own family would have done. So show an ounce of courage, and the help you need may appear from unexpected places. Rejections from journals, funding agencies, mentorship requests, and even opportunities you have worked really hard for are inevitable. I felt like ice had fallen into my stomach when I received desk rejection for my revised manuscript. Except for a few, all my manuscripts underwent several rejections before being published in good impact factor, peer-reviewed, PubMed indexed journals. I mean, look at the rejection list, 2, 6, 8, 11, 16. But if every shot you aimed at landed as a winning shot, then it wouldn't be called a success. It would be merely routine or a matter of certainty. Many don't think of carving a unique path to avoid handling the inevitable failures and rejections. Story time. Whatever I'm doing right now wasn't my planning. In 2011, I came across a photograph of 5 Indian Rhodes Scholars leaving for the Oxford University. I was curious, and then I asked around, but no one around me knew what that was. So I collected as much information about this scholarship as possible by emailing the Rhodes Trust, the past scholars, and the National Secretary with my questions. A physician author whose career trajectory I deeply admired had won the scholarship years ago, and I believed with utmost conviction that if I secured the scholarship and followed their footsteps, I will be at the pinnacle of my career. I know, right? So 7 years later, when it was finally my turn, I applied, and I also found a potential mentor at Oxford who was one of the most renowned human geneticists. He really liked my CV and agreed to supervise my DPhil in oncology with a focus on colorectal cancer if I secured the scholarship. I advanced as a semi-finalist, and I had an incredibly kind mentor at Harvard who trained me for the interviews. I was so excited that I lost my sleep and appetite for a few weeks. I advanced as a finalist, and we had a pre-interview dinner in Delhi for all of us, the top 15 undergraduates of the country, 9 panelists, and the chairman. Waiters shuttled back and forth with trays of beverages and food. I didn't touch it because I wanted to focus on connecting with the panelists and making an impression. Next day morning, I had my interview in the first slot, and I waited until evening for the results. Delhi was warm, but my hands were cold and clammy, my heart was pounding, and I was this close to throwing up with anticipation. In the evening, results were announced, and my name wasn't there. That night, I made one of the most important decisions of my life. No matter how big the event is, no matter who's around, I am never going to miss upon all those free food. Now that my plan A fizzled, I wasn't in a hurry to graduate anymore. I mean, no university was waiting to welcome me into their fall batch. So I had lots of time to think. So I spent the next couple of months pursuing clinical electives in the US, and I came across opportunities that helped me reacquaint with my strengths. With utmost honesty, on some nights, I do feel deeply sad and hurt for the lost opportunities. Perhaps I did not get what I wanted, but I gained a sense of self and a niche where I can make a difference in a way that's uniquely mine. Resilience and tenacity come from ebbing and flowing over moments like these. Despite all the discomfort along the path, in some seasons, we do pick buckets of mushrooms. Discover what you're truly capable of and build something that matters.